First thing we see is a character all stitched up, and I think this is in fact the monk that we see here staring into the tunnel, which seems to be some sort of weird, surreal, dreamlike reality. Next, he's walking through a train yard, but then a female character is shown walking at sunset. There's the monk's feet all stitched up like the face earlier. We know this because of the quick close-up we see later in the video. This part with the futuristic drone and the abandoned building sort of reminds me of the White Pony short film. I feel like this could also be a bit of a 2020 sequel to that film, which also seemed to be in a post-apocalypse, but more of a dystopian totalitarian feel to it. Not to mention the virus and mask connection to 2020 in general, which is really weird. So maybe this is 20 years later of that world. He did say that creating this new album reminded him of White Pony. And judging by the color scheme, it is the same as White Pony, white, black, and gray. Notice the eyes on the wall here. I really enjoy all the glitch work and transitions, which also can represent the shift between worlds. It's almost like this character is maybe revisiting this abandoned place where he had a strong connection. Notice the bars on the windows. Here you can see his hand is all stitched up too. This wide shot of the drone and all the cables hanging looks like some sort of sloppy makeshift internet network, like in a post-apocalypse. This could represent Chi while he was in the coma. I hope that's not insensitive to think that. I love this shot of the eyes on the wall. A lot of people speculate these are Chi's eyes. It definitely has his vibe, but honestly, when I first saw the cover, I thought it was a female. Anyway, so these eyes could represent Chi in real life, looking out while he's in the coma, as the Haunted Maze in Your Eyes lyric would suggest. An article just came out where Abe basically said it was all just a coincidence, and they didn't intend for this to be Chi's eyes. But when you combine the video too, it is a bit weird how it all does seem to tie in. Anyway, so these eyes could represent a bridge between the coma dream state and the real world. There's actually an old Canadian TV show called The Odyssey that was based on this very same concept. I watched it as a kid. It's on YouTube as well, so I'll put the link below.
The doctor said I was in a coma. Maybe I was, but there is a world beyond consciousness that they knew nothing about.
This shot is so cool with the monk staring out into the cave portal. Everything's abandoned and grown over. Another cool shot of him standing on the train cars, shifting to red. Back in the abandoned building, notice how we have a bit of a dolly zoom, a vertigo effect here, which looks so cool as we also see the eyes on the wall again with the Haunted Maze in Your Eyes lyric. As he makes his way, again, notice the power and maybe internet cables all over the place. This could be like neurons in the brain trying to connect by any means necessary. Maybe an analogy for his mind and brain as it's trying to repair itself. He seems to be roaming around lost in this desolate world, or maze. This lyric, where we remain for all time, could mean the afterlife too. The lyrics give a lot of insight about this idea of being in a timeless dream state too. The drone monitoring him could represent the doctors and the band members by his side watching. The lyric "time won't change this" could mean how they will never forget him, and the Deftones in general of making music together, like a monk's dedication. Here we are looking through a fence at our monk, standing on the train car. I felt this frame sort of looked like a red reptilian. Here they are flipped upside down, and again through the fence. This is one of my favorite shots of the whole video, where it's not only twisting, but it looks like our guy made a fire, almost like he's homeless. Of course, we see the eyes on the wall again. The eyes also serve as similar imagery to the White Pony and how it was also used in the background on the wall in the White Pony short film. I also noticed a lot of eyeball imagery on the screens, which is an obvious nod to 1984, so it all seems to tie into Ohms in 2020, where we are facing a virus and totalitarian measures exactly 20 years later. Now this scene is very interesting. These cars literally hanging in midair, a stoppage in time. Also right away it made me think of Chi's car crash, the cause of his 6-year coma. This particular street looks to be in a Chinatown district. At least that's what I think the signs show, but there is a neon open sign on the side there. Not sure if the colors of the cars mean anything. I never did see any crash photos, so I'm not sure what color the car was. Also looks like there's some water on the street. This shot is very interesting. These giant hands reaching out of the ground. Reminds me of this sculpture at the university in my city, along with others in the world like this one in Washington, D.C., and this other one in Chile's Atacama Desert. It also kind of reminds me of this episode of an X-Men cartoon. Here we get a close-up of the female character. She sort of looks like a mannequin. Not too sure what she represents, but I think she's the one walking in this long cloak. Such an epic shot. You can see what looks like boulders floating in the sky. A desolate wasteland, which maybe could represent his deteriorating mind. This imagery of her walking inside his mind would also suggest that this is going on in his coma. She stands strong, almost like that's his salvation. Or maybe the lyrics are from the perspective of his wife, the love of his life. In this downward pedestal shot, we see the hands grabbing the cars out of mid-air, and our character watches on. Notice the eyes on the vending machine. Also looks like steam coming up from the street. Another dolly zoom vertigo effect. The license plate says Digital Dive, which at first I thought could have been a reference to Digital Bath. But I did a quick Google search and it looks like it is the logo of the CGI company who created this 3D world. Here we have a couple close-ups of those vehicles frozen in time. Here's the cover shot, quite beautiful in its composition, and the fact that they went black and white just makes it even more classic, just like White Pony. Here we're getting a flashback of what we've been seeing, and this is right on the "Time Won't Change This" lyric. Then on the "Promise We Made" lyric, they show the female character in the long cloak back in the wasteland. Maybe they are both stuck here for eternity? Also on that "Promise We Made" lyric, it seems to show a lot of shots of Sergio, maybe suggesting that they all pledged to continue on Chi's behalf with Sergio. "We Shall Remain" is the next line. Again, floating boulders, and it looks like those are the stairs from the black and white shot, but more narrow. Okay, so this giant fish swimming, so trippy. Just floating around with a cool lens flare around the eye. It almost looks like a submarine. Here we see the wasteland has somewhat changed now. Leaves on the trees and the grass growing, no more darkness or floating rocks. But she is still going up these narrow stairs. Maybe to say the world is repairing itself as they get closer to finding each other. Now we see the long-cloaked female character meet the shorter cloaked monk character on the wide stairs in black and white. So it's almost like the reality shifted into another world. Now he's looking through an opening of a tunnel or some sort of ancient stone structure. Getting a lot of ancient Japanese vibes here, especially with this pink tree. I also noticed these little yellow orbs appear as the camera zooms in. You can see her by the tree in the distance. And here they finally meet in this beautiful cave-like environment. Also notice the stairs, so it seems like maybe this is where the stairs led to. Then we see a bunch of flashes of a man and a woman making out with, again, floating rocks and fish. Shot of them meeting, a close-up of one of the cars being grabbed by that giant hand, a close-up of the purple flowers growing out of the water. I'm sure everything in the video has some sort of significance, but I would like to hear your thoughts. We see more gorgeous shots of this beautiful place that they're meeting in. This shot of the giant wolf really caught my eye actually the first time I saw it. There's a little bit of data moshing here too, which is always really cool. Here's the juxtaposition of the two places, on the stairs and in the Paradise Cave. The camera zooms out from there, and that's the end of the video. Great job to Rafatoon and everyone involved. This was such an interesting video to go through. I hope you enjoyed my analysis. Thanks for watching. Check out the Instagram and Facebook filters too, where you can augment the Ohms eyes on your wall.